I inherited my grandfather's lighthouse 3 weeks after the funeral. I didn't even know he had a lighthouse. We weren't close. He'd lived alone on the coast for as long as I could remember, and family gatherings were, well, they were awkward. He'd show up, stay quiet, leave early, that kind of thing. So when the lawyer called and told me I was the sole beneficiary, I was surprised. When he told me what I'd inherited, I thought it was a joke. A lighthouse. An actual functioning lighthouse on a rocky point about 4 hours north of Portland. The lawyer said Grandpa had been the keeper for 42 years. Apparently, it was one of the last privately maintained ones on that stretch of coast. I drove up on a Tuesday, took the day off work, figured I'd assess the property, maybe list it for sale. I'm a graphic designer in Seattle. What was I going to do with a lighthouse? The drive was normal, gray skies, classic Pacific Northwest. I stopped at a gas station about 30 miles out, grabbed coffee and a pre-made sandwich. The guy behind a counter was scrolling through his phone, barely looked at me. Just regular life. The access road to the lighthouse was worse than I expected. Gravel turned to dirt, then just ruts in the grass. My Civic bottomed out twice. When I finally parked, I sat there for a minute, looking at the place. It was smaller than I thought it'd be. White stone tower, maybe 60 feet tall, with a small keeper's house attached to the base. The paint was peeling. One of the windows had a crack running diagonal across it. The whole structure sat on this rocky outcrop with the ocean crashing below. Remote doesn't really cover it. My phone had 1 bar. I grabbed my backpack and walked up. The front door was locked, but the lawyer had sent me a key. Old brass thing, heavy. It turned smooth in the lock, and the door swung open on hinges that didn't even creak. Inside smelled like salt and old coffee and something else. Not decay exactly, just age. The keeper's house was one big room with a kitchenette, a wood stove, and a bed shoved against the far wall. Everything was neat, like obsessively neat. Canned goods in the cupboard, organized by type and date. Books on a shelf arranged by height. A single mug in the dish rack, handle facing out. A spiral staircase in the corner led up to the light chamber. I spent the first hour just poking around the house, opening drawers, trying to get a feel for how Grandpa had lived. Most of it was mundane stuff. Old receipts, a radio that still worked when I plugged it in. A calendar from 2024 with the days crossed off up until August 17th. That's when he died. Heart attack, they said. Quick. There was a desk near the window with a laptop on it. Dead battery. I'd check it later. Next to it was a stack of notebooks. Logbooks, I realized. Dates written on the spines in Grandpa's cramped handwriting. I picked up the most recent one, August 2024. The entries were short, technical. Weather conditions, light maintenance, supply runs to town. Everything dated and timed precisely. August 1st, 6 a.m. Replaced bulb in North Beacon. Slight condensation in lens housing. Monitoring. August 3rd, 11:30 p.m. Fog rolling in. Switched to backup foghorn pattern. I flipped forward. August 16th, 9:15 p.m. Power fluctuation. Generator running rough. We'll check fuel filter tomorrow. Then August 17th, the day he died. 6 a.m. Standard maintenance check. All systems operational. 12:30 p.m. Visitor arrived. James Sullivan. Gave tour as requested. That made me stop. James Sullivan. That's my name. I read it again. Had to be a coincidence. Or maybe he had planned to see me. Had I forgotten about a scheduled visit? But no, I'd been in Seattle that day, in meetings all afternoon. I checked my phone calendar just to be sure. Yeah, August 17th last year, I was definitely at work. I kept reading. 2:45 p.m. James fell from observation deck. Called 911. Response time estimated 45 minutes due to road conditions. My stomach dropped. 3:17 p.m. James died. Paramedics confirmed at 3:17 p.m. Body removed. Provided statement to police. I don't know what I felt right then. Confused doesn't cover it. I read the words over and over. The handwriting was Grandpa's. Same cramped letters, same precise timing. I flipped the page. August 17th, 8 p.m. Reported incident to Maritime Authority. Investigation pending. Light operations continue as normal. And then, nothing. No more entries. I sat down hard on the desk chair. My hands were shaking. This didn't make sense. I was alive. I was sitting right there holding the logbook. August 17th last year, I'd been in Seattle, safe in my apartment that night watching Netflix after work. But Grandpa had written it, documented my death in the same meticulous detail he'd used for everything else in these logs. I grabbed my phone, thinking I'd call someone. My mom, the lawyer, anyone. But there was no signal now, not even the one bar from before. That's when I heard footsteps on the stairs above me. I froze. The metal spiral staircase rang with each step, slow, deliberate, coming down from the light chamber. "Hello?" My voice came out thin. The footsteps stopped. I waited. 10 seconds. 20. Nothing. "Grandpa?" I don't know why I said that. He was dead. I'd been to the funeral. The footsteps stirred it again, faster this time, coming down. I backed up against the wall, looking for anything I could use as a weapon. Grabbed a heavy flashlight from the desk. The spiral staircase emptied into the corner of the room, and I had a clear view of it from where I stood. A figure emerged from the stairwell. It was me. I mean, it looked like me. Same jacket I was wearing, same jeans, same hiking boots, but something was wrong with how it moved. Too stiff. And the face, God, the face was just slightly off, like a photograph that's been copied too many times. It looked at me, tilted its head. "You shouldn't be here," it said, in my voice. I ran, out the front door, across the rocky ground, heading for my car. I could hear it behind me, feet slapping on stone, but I didn't look back. I reached the Civic, yanked the door open, threw myself inside, and locked it. I looked up. It was standing 10 feet away, perfectly still, watching me. I jammed the key in the ignition. The engine turned over, caught. I threw it in reverse, spun around, and floored it down that dirt access road, branches scraping the sides of my car, rocks pinging off the undercarriage. I didn't slow down until I hit the main highway. I drove straight to a police station in the nearest town, told them everything. The officer listened, took notes, asked me a lot of questions about Grandpa's death, about my mental state, whether I was on any medications. They seemed more concerned about me than about what I'd seen. Eventually, they agreed to send someone to check the lighthouse. I waited at the station, drinking bad coffee while 2 officers drove out there. They came back 3 hours later. "Property's secure," the older one said. "No signs of forced entry. No one else present." "The logbook," I said. "Did you see it? On the desk?" "We saw several logbooks, historical records, nothing unusual. The most recent one, August 2024. The officer consulted his notes. "We photographed all the logbooks. Most recent entry we found was August 17th at noon. Standard maintenance note. Nothing about a visitor or incident." "That's not right. It said—" "Sir," the officer's voice was gentle, "grief can do strange things. Your grandfather just passed. This is a stressful time. Maybe you should contact a family member. Have someone stay with you for a few days." I left the station, got a motel room in the town. Couldn't make myself drive back to Seattle yet. That night, I couldn't sleep. I kept thinking about the logbook, about those entries, about the thing on the stairs that looked like me but wasn't. Around 2 a.m., I pulled out my laptop and started searching. I found an old Maritime Authority database, public records of lighthouse incidents. I searched for my grandpa's lighthouse, August 17th, and there it was. Incident report filed August 17th, 2024 at 8:34 p.m. Accidental death of civilian visitor, James Sullivan, age 32, fell from observation deck,
pronounced dead at scene at 3:17 p.m. My birth date was listed, my physical description. Everything matched, except it hadn't happened. I was alive. I searched my own name, found my social media. My LinkedIn profile was still active. Photos from just last week, comments from friends, everything normal. But then I noticed something in the photos, something I hadn't seen before. In every picture from the last 3 months, in every single one, there was a shadow in the background that looked almost like a person, standing just out of focus, watching. I checked older photos. Nothing. Just pictures of me, my friends, Seattle, normal life. The shadow only appeared in photos from after August 17th.
I'm writing this from a different motel now, 3 states away. I've been driving for 6 days, never staying in the same place twice. I don't know what I am anymore. I don't know if I died in that lighthouse or if something else happened. But I check my reflection constantly, looking for that wrongness I saw in the thing that wore my face. Sometimes late at night, I'll catch my reflection at a weird angle and think I see it. That stiffness, that copied too many times look. My phone still works. I can still interact with people. But I've noticed things, like how conversations seem to stop when I enter a room, then resume as if I'd been there all along. How sometimes people look right through me before their eyes focus, and they seem to remember I'm there. I went back to Seattle once, to my apartment. Someone else was living there. Had been for months, they said. They'd never heard of me. My landlord's number was disconnected. I found my mom's house, knocked on the door. She opened it, looked at me for a long time. Then she said, "I'm sorry, I think you have the wrong address," and closed the door. I could hear her crying inside. Whatever you do, if you inherit something from a relative you barely knew, if it's remote and strange, and you find records that don't match your memory, don't ignore it. Don't rationalize it. Don't convince yourself you're just stressed or grieving or imagining things. And if you find your own name in a logbook, dated in the past, describing your death, leave. Don't go back. Don't try to understand it. Because I think I'm still at that lighthouse. I think I never left. And whatever's driving to different motels, crossing state lines, writing this warning, I don't think it's really me anymore. I don't think it has been since August 17th.